Hi everyone. I get to return to Led Zeppelin today, and I'm a bit excited because pretty much every time I've listened to the band, I have enjoyed the music I've listened to. So here I am again with, in front of me today, Tangerine. Tangerine is a folk rock song recorded in 1970 and quickly went to #1 on the album charts. The Yardbirds with guitarist Jimmy Page recorded an early version of the song in 1968 titled Knowing That I'm Losing You. That's a rather different title from Tangerine. Tangerine sounds colorful. Tangerine sounds citrusy, bright. You can taste it. Knowing That I'm Losing You, a bit of a contrast. So, well, I'm listening to Tangerine today. We'll see how it sounds.
Summer's day, I only find it slips away to gray. The hours they bring me pain. Tangerine, tangerine, living reflections from a dream. I was her love, she was my queen, and now 1,000 years between. Thinking how it used to be. Does she still remember times like these? To think of us again. And I do.
What a song. It's I guess I love this contrast, the colorful elements brought in by the lyrics. I feel like this little set of lyrics could stand alone as a piece of poetry very well, because it has so much in it that is, it just puts images in your mind. Measuring a summer's day. Measuring a summer's day. I only find it slips away to gray. Measuring, we end up with, it slips away to gray. The hours, they bring me pain. Tangerine, tangerine. And, well, I said at the beginning, tangerine to me sounds vibrant and full of flavor and zest and but here, when it first comes, I'm left wondering, is this just a filler word? But as it progressed, I recognized that no, it's the contrast from slipping away to gray. The hours they bring me pain, and then we come from, here comes tangerine, tangerine. Living reflections from a dream. This is something from a former life, so to speak, something that no longer exists. I was her love, she was my queen, and now 1,000 years in between. And of course, then meditating on how it used to be. Does she still remember times like these? Does she to think of us again? And then, and I do. And I do. Oh, and that is tangerine. It's the flavor, it's the burst, it's the color. But it's in a dream. It's from something that is now a dream. It doesn't exist. Now, when I measure a summer's day, I only find it slips away to gray. Oh, the poetry that I find in this verse is just beautiful, intense, like a tangerine. And the music suits it so well. It doesn't stand out to me as music that would be great on its own. It needs these lyrics. It's something that is built around this set of lyrics. And it's built so well. It's a short piece. I listened all the way through because it was keeping me engaged, and I wanted to hear without interruption. Let's go back through, and I'll pause and comment a few times. Setting something up here. And then this introduction, like, oh, we got off to a wrong start, or, was that something left over from, or are we just sitting here fiddling around, jamming together, and then suddenly, 1, 2. What a long count-in. When I heard this, I was like, are they done counting yet?
2,
3. How many times do you need to count before you get brave enough to dive in? Actually, now, thinking about it, maybe it's a sort of measuring a summer's day. Maybe it's kind of representing that. I don't know. It's a thought.
Just like the taxman was counting.
Yeah. Count. A bit of Beatles influence. Let's see, which came first? Beatles, of course. Yes, this was 1970, so obviously the Beatles came first with this whole counting in thing. I don't remember. Well, the Beatles were the first in so many things. Were they the first counting in on recording? I don't know, but it's kind of amusing to me because as a classical musician, we count. Oh, we count. But it's the whole idea is for nobody else to know, to hear that, because we consider that a sort of distraction from the music. So you don't want to be audibly counting in 1, 2. No, you want them to hear the first notes as they come. But of course, this is a whole different genre, different attitudes to music, different
but they
styles.
took the counting and they made it a part of the music.
Exactly. Now they're not just counting themselves in. We have this little fiddly business. Is this kind of a tune-up? Is it a warm-up? Are we just, kind of hanging out together? And then somebody goes, oh, let's do something real. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. How many times do we need to count? I'm sure they don't need to be counting in so long. No way. These are good musicians. These are people who could start off just one little cue and they're good to go. So there's a lot more. I mean, this is this is built in and it's exaggerated. There's something that it's communicating. And, well, measuring a summer's day is what comes to mind for me. I'm sitting here, I'm measuring the summer day. It's a long day, and I'm trying to measure the time, and I only find it slips away to gray. And this is kind of a sad, depressed da 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 bum bum bum. Da 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 bum bum bum. This is the summer day, kind of slipping away to gray as I sit here measuring the time. Da 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 bum 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 bum. It's a little bit, you can even call it. I'm going to use a word which I use sometimes even when I'm working with young students with classical music. I'm going to say it has a whiny quality. I don't mean complaining. I don't mean that kind of whiny, but there's this sort of it's there's this whiny element. Tonally, you listen to the guitar. It's the thin strings, the high strings. It's this whole little melodic line. Everything just feels kind of sad, depressed. Of course it sounds good. I'm not criticizing the music itself. I'm not saying that it sounds bad. It's just this is what is being communicated through the music. And they do a great job of it. Somebody's just kind of strumming on the guitar, passing the time. And here's the same melody, right? Measuring da 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 da. Oh, and that is the classic Zeppelin voice, isn't it? This is the sound of Led Zeppelin. When I hear this voice come in, I could even say that the voice itself is a bit whiny in the same quality. There's this kind of crying, mournful quality, and it's
Measuring the summer's day, I only find it slips away to gray.
the emotion that he packs into every corner of every note. And don't you love the way, okay, da 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 da, we've heard that over and over and over. When we finally hear something added to it, following after that little figure, it descends even lower.
The hours they bring me pain.
Yeah. Da da dum bum bum, da 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 dum bum bum, da da dum bum bum. It's dropping lower, 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 and it's just the incredible intensity of expression that I love about this band. Not just the voice, but the instruments, everything.
The hours they bring me pain.
Okay, a little bit.
Tangerine.
Okay, and I was this is interesting to me because if you listen closely, you hear that the voices aren't quite in sync when this comes in.
Tangerine, living reflections from a dream.
You hear that? they're kind of singing their own little tune. It's the basic thing, a little bit of harmony, but they're not trying to be together. And to put that kind of uncoordinated duet when we come to Tangerine. Tangerine, Tangerine. It makes it feel very much like this is not a tangerine right here, right now. These are reflections, images that come in my daydreams, in my quiet moments as I dream of the life that I had and the love that I had. But there's something that's just not quite comfortable about it anymore. And the fact that these voices aren't perfectly in sync just adds another layer of expressive, communicative coloration to the whole picture.
From a dream, I was her love, she was my queen, and now 1,000 years between. Thinking how it used
Now we're back to just now I don't know this band well enough, and I don't know how they recorded this well enough to be able to say for sure. I don't know if that was Robert Plant and they double tracked double recorded, or if it's somebody else in the band singing the other harmony part there. I don't know, but it's one of those strange situations where I feel like the out of sync quality is so well suited to the music that I can't criticize it as being, they just didn't get it together. I feel like, they really did that in a way that enhances this feeling of discomfort and sadness and yearning, and just so sorry that time has passed. And then we come back to his voice on its own, and the contrast from the two to the one is beautiful.
thinking how it used to be.
It's as if he could be
Does
crying.
she
He
still
could,
remember times like these? To think of us again,
descent.
and I do.
And I do. And even there, it's not, and I do, but, and I do. And I do. It's so painful.
Us again, and I do.
And the guitar, oh wow. Right, so I've been talking about Robert Plant and his voice and his interpretation. Now, the guitar comes in. It also had this sort of muted quality, kind of like muted violin. And I get the feeling that, okay, Robert Plant is the image of the person strumming his guitar on his doorstep, mourning the loss of his love life. And now Jimmy Page comes in. And Jimmy Page, with his guitar, gives voice, eloquent voice, to all the feelings within this person that can't be expressed in this broken, crying voice that is the person we see, and then it's the feelings within this person that we now get to hear.
And I do.
Here they come pouring out. Somebody needs to give voice to these feelings. Yes, and I'm stopping right here again, I know. But I wanted to comment on the construction of this solo. Let's go back because I want to point out a few things. We're going to just tear this apart a little bit. So we have that nice melody. And we could call that kind of a and I love this moment where, as I was listening, I know what I expected to hear. It makes perfect logical sense to our ears, but instead it goes way up and takes us somewhere else. That is such good solo improvisatory melodic construction. Give us enough of a pattern that it carries us along, it keeps us going, and we start to feel like, oh yes, this is comfortable, we know, and kind of walk us through what's going to come next, and then just do a little tweak, a little variant, and take it somewhere else. And he does it beautifully here. And we go on somewhere else. Back to Tangerine. Don't you love how Tangerine is so buried in the instrumental mix, just as this dream of a vibrant life is so buried in the past and in the sadness of now, that it just comes through barely if you pay attention and listen to it. You can't really feel like you are holding it in your hands. Holding out that note. Going on, and down, and down, and down. We hear the sort of reflection, like a mirage in the guitar. And we're back to seeing this lonely person sitting on his steps as he strums his guitar and comes to the end, and I just don't have the inspiration today for it. Another beautiful, expressively beautiful, emotionally intense piece of music by Led Zeppelin, and it's such a well-colored portrait. I feel like I'm looking at some old photograph of somebody on their wooden steps with a guitar from, I don't know, 50, 80 years ago, and it's black and white and it's kind of gray, but you feel that there was once so much color and life there. That is what this piece of music does to me, and it does it so incredibly well. Well, of course Led Zeppelin can do that, can't they? That was Tangerine. More is coming, and I'll see you soon.